Hello and welcome to another episode of the Empathic Designer podcast by YLearn. I'm your host Vaidishwaran. We are continuing with our series on PowerPoint where I demonstrate cool techniques that you can use for your next presentation. In today's episode, we will look at how to create custom shapes. We can use the standard shapes that are available in PowerPoint to create really interesting custom shapes. I use custom shapes all the time to create interesting content windows and objects for my presentations. So let's go ahead and see how we can do this. I have my PowerPoint window open. So we have two words over here, procurement and delivery. So I am going to be connecting them with an arrow. So PowerPoint does offer some arrows that are already available. So if you go into the Insert tab and select Shapes, you have a lot of arrows that are available. You can select a simple arrow like this, or if you want a notched arrow, you can go in for something like this. Or if you want to create an arrow that is looking a little different from the arrows that we have over here, you can do that with custom shapes. So I'll show you how this is done. So in order to create a custom shape, what I am going to do is I am going to take two different shapes and I'm going to manipulate those shapes to create a different looking arrow. So for this, I am going to first start with this shape over here, which is a trapezium. So I've got the trapezium shape. I'm drawing the trapezium like this. So I've got the trapezium shape now. So I'm going to rotate this to the left by 90 degrees. So you can select the rotate option under the shape format window and select rotate left by 90 degrees. So it gets rotated like this. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to skew this shape. I'm going to modify this shape. So you can look at this small yellow dot over here, yellow square dot. So when I hold my mouse pointer on this and move, I can actually change the width of this trapezium. I can manipulate this width. And in the same way, if I hold my mouse button to this point over here, and if I move this, I can adjust the thickness. So you can see that I have taken a trapezium and I have changed the shape to this. Now I'm going to take my second shape, which is going to be a triangle. So what I've done right now is I have created the body of my arrow. So I'm going to create the tip of my arrow with a triangle. So again, I go to Insert, go to the Shapes window, and I'm selecting a triangle. So I'm inserting the triangle over here. So again, this I'll have to rotate. So I'm taking the rotate option, rotating it to the right by 90 degrees. And what I'm doing is I'm bringing it over here. And again, I'm resizing this triangle so that it looks a bit more proportional to the arrow, like so. So now you can see that there are two different shapes like this. So I have to convert this into a single shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm bringing these two shapes together, making sure they are perfectly aligned like this. Now what I will do is I will select both shapes by holding the Shift key down. And now under Shape Format, I have an option called Merge Shapes. So when you select the arrow next to Merge Shapes, you will get a lot of options. So here I'm going to select a first option called Union. So what this essentially does is it unites the shapes that we have selected and converts it into a single shape. So when I select Union, it becomes a single object. It is no longer, you can no longer separate these two shapes, and you can skew, stretch, zoom, modify whatever you want. This will function as a single object. And now if I put this over here, this will look like a different arrow that you have created using custom shapes, right? So you have created a custom shape using the standard shapes that are available in PowerPoint. So another classic example that you can do is okay. Let me demonstrate another example for you. So I am going to create a water drop, right? So if you go into the insert menu and select shapes, so you can scroll down and see that there are a lot of different shapes that are available, but I don't have the shape of a water drop. So how do I achieve that? So for this, I'm going to use two different shapes. I'm going to use a circle. So I select a circle. I insert the circle over here. So I'm resizing the circle so that it looks a little bigger on the screen for you. Now I'm going to select my second shape, which is a triangle. So I'm going into insert, selecting the shape. I have a triangle. Now I'm adding a triangle on top like this. So you can see that this sort of looks like a water drop, but it isn't exactly there, right? So there are two different shapes now. So what I do is again select both these shapes, go into shape format. Under merge shapes, I'm selecting union. Once that is done, we have our water drop, which is a single shape. So you can rotate, you can move this around, you can manipulate this any way you want. So this is just one of the ways in which you can create custom shapes. You can also use the other options that are available under merge shapes, like if you want to union two objects, you can do that. You can subtract shapes, you can intersect shapes. There are a lot of options that are available. So please feel free to practice this, take different shapes and play around with it. When you sit down and practice this one, you will be amazed by the number of different custom shapes that you'll be able to create and really be able to make good use of it in your presentations. So I wish you the best of luck in your experiments with custom shapes, and I'll talk to you again in my next episode on the PowerPoint series. So if you really like this video, please go ahead and hit the like button and support this channel by subscribing to it and hitting the bell icon to be the first to be notified whenever I upload new content to my channel. So until next time, have a wonderful day.